Greetings and welcome to Live in Love with Laura. I am Laura Louise. Today I would like to publicly thank Jian Ghomeshi, a famous Canadian broadcaster who has recently been all over our Canadian media with what seems like countless sexual harassment cases of more and more women coming forward to attest declarations against him. What may seem like a terribly shocking situation has actually become quite a blessing. Because of Jian's decisions on how to show up in the world, it has resulted with a massive platform for women to speak up and for our culture to become collectively aware of gender issues that root long before any of our births. So thank you, Jian Ghomeshi. I have been watching various videos, reading men and women's comments, and becoming more and more aware of how prevalent sexual assault and harassment is in my own life and the gender roles and conditionings I have become accustomed to. I watched a woman walking in New York for 10 hours in jeans and a t-shirt with a hidden camera to capture all of the catcalls for men within that day. When I first watched it, I thought that many of those who addressed her were actually quite polite about it. And then I read some of the comments that women were sharing that existing in the world as a woman and walking down the street and being spoken to in that way is an issue that typically is a non-issue for men, and that is a concern. I watched another video of things women might say if they were to catcall men, and I actually found it quite funny. Then I started to reflect on my personal response to these things. It was not feeling so triggered as I had been witnessing other women feel, and I realized that it just became normal to me, and I barely recognize it anymore, and that is when I thought, wow, this is a concern. I have personally been sexually assaulted, sexually harassed, sexually abused, physically, mentally, emotionally, and of course resulting in spiritually. I have been frozen and numb in situations. I have been radically outraged in other situations. I remember walking down a busy street as a young adult with a boyfriend at the time and a group of 5 men walking in the opposite direction, and I instantly felt like they were up to something. They looked me up and down, and right when they were beside me, one of them pushed the other one full force into me. I could feel the energy of my boyfriend rise up, and I grabbed him by the arm and told him to keep walking. He was angry, but he listened to me, did nothing. I was scared and I listened to me and I did nothing. Then of course I hit the emotional spectrum of wanting to cry and wanting to rage, and later my boyfriend became the target of my wounds. When I was in university sleeping in my own bed in my own dorm room, I woke up with a guy I knew on me, trying to take off my clothes, completely drunk and completely oblivious to my struggle and to my nose. He proceeded ignoring me and I froze up. Totally frozen, helpless, and still, he continued to keep me pinned, and finally, when I realized what was about to happen, I snapped out of it and in total rage threw him off me with complete aggression, ran and locked myself into a bathroom where I laid on the floor and bawled the whole night. The next day, he didn't remember, and I wanted to forget. I felt utterly violated, assaulted, and powerless. These are only a few of the experiences that I've had personally. If my brother or my father knew the name of that guy, I would hate to know what they would do to him. But if I'm honest, due to their conditioning, I have received different forms of gender and sexual abuse from them too. Nothing physical, but does that even make it better or okay? Do I hold it against them or love them any less? No, because that's what they knew as men. That's what they've been taught and conditioned. And that's exactly why it's likely become normal to me. I can barely recognize a kind, respectful man actually showing up with love. I don't trust it. So what's the real issue here? I don't think it's girl power or becoming a bigger, stronger woman. I think it's about creating empowering human beings who live with respect, love, and equality, not because of our gender, our body parts, roles, class, color of skin, sexual engagement, religion, or place of birth. We need to see each other as human beings and on the same team. So is there a quick solution to gender inequality? Yes and no. We must see where we're at in our evolution as humans, first of all. And our roles as individuals is to talk about it, think about it, begin developing an awareness and mindfulness about it. And it's the responsibility of every single one of us to break the chain by choosing consciously how we decide to show up in the world and what kind of example we want to set for ourselves and for the next generation and those looking up to us. Honor yourself enough to say something. We don't need to make change by getting angry or hating the other gender. This is as much of an issue for men as it is for women. Respect, love, honor, and be kind to your mother, your sister, your girlfriend, your wife, and your daughter. Respect, love, honor, and be kind to your father, your brother, boyfriend, husband, or son. Stand up for each other and stand up to each other. Declare the relationship you want to create. Is it that of love, compassion, patience, and respect? Or is it that of fear, resentment, defensiveness, of anger, and abuse? You are constantly choosing to collectively create our society. And I think it's about damn time that we stand together and allow ourselves the freedom to express ourselves and to be who we are from our core essence and not as a product of repeated conditioning of generation, generation. Love yourself enough to choose to be the love you wish to see in the world. We are way too evolved as humans to continue to live these limiting patterns and conditions. You do not need to know how in order to decide right now that you will be a product of your own conscious choice of what humanness can look like for you today and for those coming after us. Despite your conditioning or your wounded experiences, choose love. And choose love again and again and again until love becomes a conditioned pattern. Because unconditional love must be conditioned. Thank you for watching Live in Love with Laura. Choose love.